A very warm welcome on TV47 Spotlight tonight. My name is Mombi Chege. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Faith Cheptile. These are some of the stories making headlines tonight. On TV47 Spotlight tonight, COVID-19 hitting harder. Kenya records the highest ever COVID-19 cases in a day after 960 cases were reported today. But what are the options for President Uhuru Kenyatta as he meets the governors tomorrow? Battle for the city. More than 30 MCAs threatened to impeach County Speaker Beatrice Elachi a day after she oversaw the swearing in of the new county clerk. County revenue standoff. President Uhuru and ODM leader Raila Odinga calling their houses in order over the ongoing county revenue standoff.
As much as we are very densely populated, we don't have a huge landmass. All right, so it also affects.
The standoff is now threatening the BBI process. The country has recorded the highest number of COVID-19 cases in a single day. A statement, though disputed, from the Ministry of Health reported a record of 960 cases, bringing the total tally to 17,603. 2 more deaths were reported, raising the total tally to 280, with 169 new recoveries. The increase in numbers is one of tomorrow's agenda during the 5th Extraordinary Intergovernmental Summit that will also review the county's preparedness. But how well are the devolved units prepared to handle the surging numbers? In a recent report by the Council of Governors, at least 26 counties were yet to comply with the directive to have a 300-bed capacity. The counties that are leading in preparedness are, among others, Nairobi, Mombasa, Cambo, Murang'a, Machakos, and Uasin Gishu. The numbers have gone high in some counties as well as nationally, such as Cambo, after the president lifted cessation of movement. As at 6th July, the country was reporting 8,607 cases only, but the number has risen to 17,603 cases today. On 6th of this month, President Uhuru Kenyatta promised to review the matter within 21 days, of which the 21 days lapses tomorrow. So what next for the country?
Firstly, the order to reopen is given conditionally. Should the situation deteriorate and pose a challenge to our health infrastructure, we will have to revert back to lockdown. In the next 21 days, we shall study patterns of interactions and the spread of the disease. Any trends that signal a worsening of the pandemic, we will have no choice but to return to lockdown at zero option.
And President Uhuru Kenyatta has now convened another extraordinary summit with county governors to review the surge of COVID-19 infections in the country. The summit, to be held tomorrow, is expected to discuss, among other issues, the containment measures in place and counties' preparedness, as Mwangi Maina now reports.
Since President Uhuru Kenyatta ordered the gradual reopening of the country on 6th of July, COVID-19 infections have gone up with 54%. Tomorrow's 5th Extraordinary Summit with the 47 governors will assess the county's preparedness within the wider national response to the coronavirus pandemic and evaluate Kenya's overall national response and capacity, as well as review the efficacy of containment measures in place. The summit will also review the impact of the first easing of restriction measures that were in place. The session will also consider the evolution of the disease and the medical models on how COVID-19 may propagate within the country in the next 2 months. The session may reintroduce a session of movement within counties that have continued to report huge numbers of cases, including Mombasa, Nairobi, Cambo, and the border counties of Kajiado, Machakos, Busia, and Migori, with some governors reportedly advocating for the locking down of Nairobi. By 6th of July, the country had recorded 8,067 cases, and 20 days later, the caseload stands at 17,603 cases after 960 cases were recorded today.
Tomorrow's extraordinary summit between President Uhuru Kenyatta and 47 governors will chart a way forward for the country in the fight against coronavirus as cases continue to soar since the country was reopened on July 6th. Reporting for TV47 from Nairobi, my name is Mwangi Maina.
And still on COVID-19, Kenyans have voiced mixed reactions ahead of tomorrow's extraordinary summit between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Council of Governors. Here are some of those we spoke to.
Kwanza walishafungulia watu walishaenda. Kama tungekuwa na lockdown wangeendelea vile walikuwa wanaendelea kabla hawajafungulia watu. Hawa jamaa ruhusu ndege zikuje hapa. Hiyo ugonjwa Mwenyezi Mungu ndiye anajua lini itaisha. Kila Mkenya achukue precautions and we live our normal lives. Tutavaa mask tukitafuta kitu kutafuta. Lakini you cannot just make us as slaves. Kila saa sisi tunahangaika and then pesa. Every time minister amesimama, every time huyo mtu mwingine amesimama, ile every time wanatangaza wanaingiza pesa kwa mfuko every other single time. Na ule Mkenya wa kawaida unataka pata pesa kutumia.
Tufungulie tuendelee tu na kazi. Kwa sababu hata tukisema ni kufunga already wenye walikuwa naenda wameshasafiri. Kwa hivyo kusema ati saa hii ni kufunga tuko rate. Ya mimi ningeomba tu ache wananchi waendelee na kazi.
The best way to curb this is actually to try and think about lockdown. It may not be total lockdown, but partially. And also recall curfew. And believe in me or not, that's what the president is going to do. Because you see, the counties have realized they have no capacities to curb this menace. And so they really expect the president to help them by actually locking down movements. Because even if we try as much as we have, we've seen roadblocks. Kenyans are peculiar. They are very unique characters. See, with roadblocks, they still find their ways.
And the joint health unions in the country have expressed their grievances that healthcare workers who are at the front line in battling the COVID-19 pandemic have greatly been affected following the inadequate protective personal equipment and other equipment in healthcare facilities. As of now, 531 healthcare workers have contracted the virus, with 8 others succumbing to the disease. They're now asking that their challenges be addressed and prioritized in the summit involving the President and the Council of Governors set for tomorrow.
A joint survey researched by health union and associations between the 23rd and 25th of this month has shown that only 25% of health workers have had the 2-day training on handling COVID-19, while 64.5% have experienced burnout due to increased workload. 72.5% of them do not have access to PPEs and N95 masks while performing aerosolizing procedures, while 74.4% are anxious that they may be using their PPEs wrongly, and 82.4% feel their pay does not match the risks they are exposed to. This comes after the country has had a surge in COVID-19 numbers, with 531 infections among health workers. 8 others have died from Nairobi, Kajiado, Mombasa and Wajir counties.
We have lost 8 of our colleagues. 5 of them are from Nairobi County, 1 from Kajiado, 1 from Mombasa, and the latest is the one from Wajir.
The health workers are expecting the President, together with the Council of Governors, in a summit set to take place on Monday, will address their challenges and prioritize their solutions to ensure that their welfare is secured as they battle the virus. These include the employment of an extra 10,000 health workers to replace those who have been infected, to handle the expected surge as we head to the peak of the outbreak.
Workers who are of the age of 55 years and above, and those with pre-existing disease and conditions be given leave until the situation is brought under control. And indeed, harmonization of contractual terms to be considered and be done immediately in tandem with the Employment Act and the Labor Relations Act.
Health workers will be listening to hear if actually the topmost decision-making organ in Kenya understands our challenges, our concerns, appreciate the risk we work under, and whether they are willing to provide solutions for this.
Health workers have borne the weight of this pandemic and have endlessly complained of the abandonment.
Thank you.
Nanok Lauren, TV47.
Kiambu County Police Boss Ali Nuno has decried negligence of police officers and prisoners in Kiambu County on matters COVID-19. Nuno says another police officer has been confirmed to have contracted COVID-19 even as they feel left out. He's now calling on the Ministry of Health to set aside a quarantine facility in prisons within Kiambu County. Meanwhile, the county government of Kiambu has started enforcing closure of bars as directed by Governor James Nyoro.
These prisoners have tested positive, have been with others inside the cells. In Thika alone, I'm talking of Thika West alone, I had 70, out of which 22 tested positive. The rest, through the intelligence of my boss, the DIG, we are able to take them to the prison. But prison authorities are only taking those which are negative, and upon production of a certificate of tested to that effect. The test is going very gradually, slowly. Now I cannot arrest other people, Kenyans, and put them in cells. If I ask for bail, they say they don't have money. In a bit of uso, what are you going to do with him? And this is an offender. Talk a case of fraud, for example. Where are you going to place that place? And the court is saying that they're only taking robbery with violence, murder, and other capital offenses. I require interventions. Because this is not a police exercise. The Ministry of Health is the leading agency. I wanted the multi-agency to come on board.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga are now seeking to intervene in the ongoing county revenue sharing standoff. The two are said to be seeking to affirm their stand on the revenue sharing formula after senators failed to agree on the formula. And as Senate meets on Tuesday, Senate Majority Whip Irungu Kang'ata has said there shall be no further adjournment on the revenue sharing bill. President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga are seeking to bridge a consensus on the ongoing standoff on the county revenue sharing formula. The two are set to meet their respective senators to affirm their positions on the matter that has been postponed for 5 times now in the Senate. Jubilee senators are also said to be preparing for a parliamentary group meeting on Tuesday morning ahead of the afternoon sitting. Tanga affiliated senators are also said to be opposing the formula. Kieleweke wing of the ruling party has already threatened to pull out of the BBI process if NASA senators will not support the disputed formula.
We have made a decision on Tuesday, no passage of the formula, no BBI. We thought we are supporting BBI so that we devolve more funds to the counties and therefore no county loses. We are supporting BBI because it supports the concept of one man, one shilling, and that is the whole rationale that is underpinning this proposal.
ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi wants the current formula used for the 2020-2021 budget, saying the standoff has denied counties money.
It is delaying disbursement of resources to the counties, and these counties have obligations, and these obligations relate to service to the people in those counties. So it is absolutely important that this delay is done away with.
At least 18 senators from less populous counties that might face a slash on revenue allocation are opposed to the proposed formula.
As much as we are very densely populated, we don't have a huge landmass. All right, so it also affects the allocation in that area. So clearly, there's need for further dialogue, and in order not to delay services, I can only appeal to the Senate to look at it in the context of saying let this financial year go because you're delaying services.
The third basis of revenue allocation proposes that 16% of the revenue be shared based on counties' services basic equal share at 20%, agriculture at 12%, and health at 20%. Leaders from the affected counties have criticized Kenyatta's remarks, terming them as selfish.
So saying that BBI will now be dependent on the outcome of the revenue allocation as expected or as demanded for by the executive is something that should not be done. I mean, it is irresponsible, and I think it's a bit childish.
Without the sharing formula, the 316.5 billion shillings allocated to counties in the current financial year cannot be shared among the 47 devolved units. A Senate sitting was adjourned on Thursday after Majority Leader Samuel Pughisio requested the Speaker to adjourn the sitting. A section of senators are now threatening to impeach the Speaker for adjourning the sitting. Many thanks for staying with us on TV47 Spotlight. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with much more.
Mount Kenya University takes pride in being an academic giant with some of the best infrastructure, imparting knowledge to the best brains in the country and the region. Our members of faculty are keen to deliver market-driven programs in science and humanities with a keen focus on linkages with relevant organizations. We admit both self-sponsored and government-sponsored students under the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service. Join us today, Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
Hey, Sospita son, tumefutwa wote.
Yawa, pia wewe?
Tumeachiliwa.
Si pia wewe unaweza anzisha biashara yako?
Na hii economy venye iko tough sana.
But not too tough for mwananchi credit.
Tutafanya aje?
Si niko na 5 good cars. We can get a quick logbook loan approved within 6 hours.
Nataka kuanzisha salon na spa. Hii haitatosa.
Si tuko na title deed spare. We can still get more money using them. Get a quick approval within 6 hours using your logbook or title deed. Do not get stuck. Call Mwananchi Credit today. Si nilikuambia.
You are a big smart joke.
Mwananchi Credit. Investor in people.
Authentic, natural, planned. Transforming. Endless benefits. Tea, purely Kenyan. Buy now on Jumia or Amazon.
Welcome back. Now, a section of Nairobi MCAs are now threatening to impeach House Speaker Beatrice Elachi 2 days after she oversaw the swearing-in of the new county clerk. Now, the MCAs who demonstrated to City Hall today are accusing Elachi for, among others, abuse of office and intimidations. The MCAs have started collecting signatures to impeach Elachi.
The city MCAs demonstrated to City Hall Sunday saying they have collected more than 40 signatures to impeach the Speaker. They have accused the Speaker of, among others, abuse of office, illegal appointment of a new assembly clerk, corruption, poor leadership, victimization of MCS and assembly staff, impunity, disregard for the law and county orders, and militarization of the assembly.
Sheria kwa mkononi mwake, anafikiria hii ni nyumba yake, sisi ni watoto yake, sisi tumechaguliwa. We are not ready to work under military rules. Katika hii county assembly sasa imekuwa ni askari, AP, police, Jeshu.
This comes a day after Elachi gazetted Edward Gishana as the new clerk to replace embattled Jacob Ngwele. However, Ngwele insists that he's not going anywhere as he's the legally recognized clerk of the county assembly. The MCS have also accused Speaker Beatrice Elachi of using security forces to harass them and bar them from entering the county assembly headquarters as a form of intimidation.
Na tumesikia ati leo usiku watalalisha guns hapa. Tunawaambiwa wajaribu kulalisha guns. Na askari mkiwa support, hata sisi tuko na raia kwa ground.
The leaders also claim that the newly established Nairobi Metropolitan Service was interfering with their projects in their respective wards.
Members of county assembly, kila member ako na WDF kwa ward yake. Lakini juzi tumeshangaa. General anasema maengineers wote watolewe kwa site na project zetu zisimame.
The members of the county assembly also pledged their allegiance to Governor Sonko of Nairobi as the elected leader of Nairobi County. Immaculate Oma, TV47.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has sent a message of condolences to the PCA Church following the death of Reverend Peter Kariuki Kania, who passed on this morning. Reverend Kania is the outgoing Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa. The president termed Kania as a gifted priest who served the PCA Church and the country with zeal and utmost commitment. Other leaders have eulogized Reverend Kania as a man who was dedicated in his work and he died while receiving treatment. ODM leader has also eulogized him, saying that the PCA Church has lost a steadfast and dependable preacher whose efforts as Secretary General has seen the church undergo a period of sustained growth. Now, ODM East Africa Legislative Assembly Member of Parliament Oburu Oginga has hinted that ODM leader Raila Odinga will be on the ballot in 2022. Oginga, who's Raila's elder brother, says the ODM boss has invented a new strategy for 2022. This will be the 5th time Raila will be trying the presidency. Raila in the host interviews has been saying he is yet to declare his 2022 bid. ODM has been pushing for BBI as a move that has been termed as Raila's strategy for 2022.
We are now making strategies for winning the election. We have won elections 3 times. But every time we win the election, we are robbed of that victory. That victory is known to the whole country, but we never go to State House. Why have we not gone to State House? But system is very important. And now we are with Uhuru Kenyatta, who is holding the system. So if the system plus our votes, which are always more than the others, what else?
And still on ODM, now the party has strongly dismissed claims by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka of an alleged 2022 secret pact between him and ODM boss Raila Odinga. And as Andrin Kilemi reports, Wiper has responded to the statement, saying it is in extremely bad taste as it appears to have been tailored to cast aspersions on the character of Kalonzo.
Just a day after Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka hinted of a secret pact with ODM leader Raila Odinga regarding the 2022 polls, ODM has rubbished the claims, saying no such deal exists. ODM states that it is not surprised that Kalonzo is making those claims, saying it is typical of him to want to reap where he did not sow. The Orange Party further revealed that at one point, Kalonzo tried to push Raila to commit to support him in 2022 as part of the NASA Pact, but the party flatly rejected the demand. Wiper has since responded to the statement, saying the tone and language in the statement by Sifuna is aimed at tainting Musyoka's character. In an interview with one of the media stations in Kenya, Kalonzo is alleged to have hinted of a secret 2022 political pact between him and Odinga, a deal he said is only between the two of them and totally excludes NASA co-principals Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi. Late last week, in an interview with TV47, Musyoka said he is expecting support from Odinga in his race towards the country's top seat.
Basi wala wazi hili, Mungu atujalie, tutakuwa katika kutafuta kiti cha urais kuongoza nchi, na sababu tuko nazo, nia nzuri tuko nayo, nadhani experience yenyewe tuko nayo, kwa sababu ukiwa vice president wa mzee kama Kibaki for 5 years, jameni tulifanya maajabu. Infrastructure hii, hata nilienda wakati mmoja nikamwambia mzee Kibaki, mimi na ambassador Mudhaura, tunaona ile kazi umefanya, unafika super highway, tukubalie tuite hiyo super highway Kibaki super highway. Akaniangalia akasema, na huko barabara inaenda hakuna jina.
Kalonzo is among NASA leaders who skipped Odinga's mock swearing-in ceremony held at Uhuru Park after he rejected the 2017 general elections results. Andrin Kilemi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, away from politics, National Environment Management Authority (NEMA) has mapped out 103 discharge points along the Nairobi River in the last 3 months. Now, the authority has been able to close down 48 facilities and continues to ensure that they comply with provisions of Water Quality Regulations 2006. According to Acting Director General NEMA Mamo Boro, the primary source of Nairobi River pollution is the sewerage infrastructure.
We have dilapidated sewer lines. Most of them are dysfunctional, and a lot of times they just break down and discharge raw sewer into our aquatic environment, and this has been a very big challenge. As an authority, we've mapped out what we call discharge points, effluent discharge points.
When the late Michuki came into the Ministry of Environment in 2008, his focus was the Nairobi River. And he put together 17 ministries to come up with a 10-point plan to clean up the Nairobi River, but not just cleaning the water, also ensuring the riparian reserve. Actually, he's the one who enforced very, very strongly, firmly, the 30-meter riparian reserve.
Now, with the rising numbers of teenage pregnancies in the country, a poor relationship between some parents and their teenage children has led to the rise of the cases. A training program has been launched in Uasin Gishu to empower parents in rural areas on how to address challenges affecting their teenage children. Calvin Chitoa reports.
More than 200 parents from Kabobo village converged here at Kabobo Bible College for a training. The training aimed at empowering them with relevant skills to help them address issues affecting their teenage children amidst a rise in teenage pregnancies in the country.
Janga la COVID-19 limewaletea wazazi changamoto nyingi sana kwa jinsi ya kuweza kuwatunza watoto wakiwa nyumbani. Manake wamekaa na watoto kwa muda ya karibu miezi 6 hivi na wamepata changamoto nyingi sana.
Reports indicate that at least 3,000 cases of teenage pregnancies were recorded in Uasin Gishu County alone between March and July, a period when schools have closed due to COVID-19.
Yanajiri. Hivi sasa tunapoongea katika kaunti yetu ya Uasin Gishu kuna watoto zaidi ya 3,000 inakiziwa kwamba wamepata mimba ya mapema. Na bila shaka haya yanapotokea ni mambo ambayo yanastajabisha katika kila jamii.
Trainers say many parents can't talk about sexuality matters with their teenagers, forcing a number of them to turn to social media platforms for knowledge and guidance, which can at times be misleading.
Kwa sababu watoto saa hii tukiwajilia, wengine wanaweza kunywa pombe, wengine anafuta hata bangi, ndio tukakaa chini kama wazazi ya Kabobo tukue kitu kimoja na tuweze kuchunga watoto wetu ili waweze kurudi shule mwaka ujao, Mungu akipenda.
They say the use of mobile phones should be controlled. The parents in the area have now agreed to be punishing teenagers of opposite sex who will be found in privacy and by the roadsides.
Tunaona kwamba wakati kiboko ilitolewa na serikali, hapo ndio tumeona watoto wameanza kukosa tabia nzuri. Tumetoa sheria yetu kwamba hatutaki kuona watoto wakitembea wawili wawili, hasa mvulana na kijana. So tumetoa sheria yetu kama Kapopo village.
Peer pressure and misuse of mobile phones were other areas of concern raised by the parents. Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Uasin Gishu County.
A group of young innovators in Webuye are now making special beds that will help health officers to prevent themselves from contracting COVID-19. Mike Kagwongo caught up with them and filed this report.
This is Webuye town. We meet these youth who are enthusiastic about protecting medical officers against coronavirus from patients.
Hii upande huku nimeunda upande ya mbele ni ile ya kuadjust kama mgonjwa unataka ainue kichwa upande ya juu. So ndio najaribu kufungusha ikipanda juu ili isaidie mgonjwa akiwa na shida ya kupumua apate kupumua vizuri.
Led by Enoch Sikuku, the youth state that they have been monitoring COVID-19 situation in the country and that they have been moved by the increasing number of medics contracting the disease. The group has come up together with these special beds.
Na kulingana na hii kazi yenye tunafanya, tuliona madaktari wetu kulingana na COVID-19 wanasumbukana sana kwa kupata magonjwa. So tukaona kusaidia ili tusaidie madaktari pia wasipatikane na hiyo shida. Tukaamua tukatengeneza kitanda ikapa hivi, unaweza seti upande ya kichwa, unaweza seti upande ya miguu.
According to them, the flexibility of beds eliminates contact between the medics and coronavirus patients, thus curbing the spread of the virus. They are now calling upon young people in the country to make up any jobs available to them, reiterating that technical jobs are ideal, particularly during this COVID-19 pandemic.
Na vijana wetu pia naomba wasichakue kazi. Kazi ni kazi. Usingoja serikali itakuandika. Kazi yenye serikali itakusaidia kama imbapo pia wewe uko na shughuli yenye unafanya, ndio sawa watasaidia hiyo pesa kuje kusaidia pia kijana wa chini ujiendeleshe.
Hatuifanyi kwa sababu ati hatuna elimu. Tumesoma, tuna elimu, tunajua, ndio maana ikisimama hivi inafaa hapa elimu. So kasi ni kasi.
Meanwhile, they've called upon leaders to support the youth in establishing small enterprises in a bid to cater for their needs.
Nimesikia kwamba president wetu alitoa pesa ya kusaidia vijana, kusaidia wale wafanyabiashara wa chini. So mimi naomba upande wetu kama sisi wafanyabiashara, hiyo pesa wachukue pesa watusaidie sisi pia ili tusaidie vijana wenzetu pia wapate kuendelea.
Saizi kwa hapa na tunaomba serikali tupatie hii kazi hizi vitanda tuunde, at least tusikuwa nini idle sana.
Reporting for TV47 from Webuye, Bungoma County, I'm Mike Kagwongo.
Elsewhere, as the circumcision season draws near in Bukusu, traditional circumcisers are preparing their tools of trade, among them knives. However, these knives are not allowed to be touched by anyone, and a man is not allowed to sleep with a woman while having it. Wanji Sosten reports.
In Serisia village, Webuye East constituent Bungoma County, Simon Stuma, the chairman of Bukusu traditional circumcisers, is leading his team on a knives ritual before the season starts. He states that it's a special apparatus dedicated to boys known as Vasinde. According to the Bukusu tradition, it's a taboo to point at a person using the knife. The father says that the man is not supposed to sleep with a woman when having the knife or in contact with it.
Inaheshimika, kazi yake ni kupasha tohara vijana. Hakuna kazi ingine. Na ina heshima ile ya kutosha. Huwezi lala na mwanamke kama iko kwa mfuko. Huwezi kochoa kama iko kwa mfuko ama iko kwa mkono. Ina heshima ile ya kutosha. Hii kisu bila unaiona namna hivi, huwezi onyesha mtu kwa macho. Ukimuonyesha yule mtu anaenda kufa kwa muda mfupi.
Baada ya kazi yake huwa zinawekwa wapi?
Hii baada ya kazi yake huwa wananoa alafu zinaenda kuwekwa mahali ambapo mtu hawezi fikia. Huwa anatoka tu wakati wa kutayarisha peke yake.
Mtu yeyote anaweza weka ama
hii huwa inaweka na mtayarishaji peke yake.
However, Stuma says that the knife is sharpened using hot charcoal, and with the COVID-19 fears, the traditional circumcisers have said that they will adhere to Ministry of Health guidelines during their operations.
Hii rust huwa tunatumia ile fumbi na ile na ile makaa ya moto, hii ndio tunatumia kutoa. Na huwa tunanoa na moto, tukitumia moto.
Kisu kimoja watoto wangapi?
Kisu kimoja kijana mmoja. Alafu sisi tumefuata masharti watu wawili kwa kijana, mkataji na mshikaji. Watu wawili, watataji wawili kwa kijana mmoja. Alafu kitu cha pili nasema distance. Ile boma inaenda kufanya hii sherehe ya kutayarisha vijana inatakana ikuwe na watu chini ya watu 15.
Pasha tohara anaruhusiwa kuwa na kukata watoto wangapi kwa siku moja?
Sasa hiyo huwa inalingana na area. Kuna ile area iko na watoto wengi. Lakini sisi tunasema ifanyike kutokea saa 12 kufikia saa 2 asubuhi kwa imesimamishwa.
After slaughtering a white chicken, its blood is smeared on the knives to appease the ancestors. Wanji Sostin, TV47, Bungoma.
Many thanks for staying with us. Let's take another short break. We'll be back with much more. welcome back to TV47 Spotlight. Now, a young author in Uasin Gishu County has challenged publishers against neglecting young writers and instead called on them to help nurture their talents. Our reporter Calvin Chitwa caught up with 13-year-old Michelle Nyakure, a strong ambassador of the competency-based curriculum, who is currently working on her second book after publishing the first one.
Apart from her passion in writing books, Michelle, a young author, loves cooking. Like other teenagers of her age, you will also find her involved in other activities such as riding a bicycle during her free time.
Mostly I wrote the book during the first part of the term so that through the rest of the term I could mainly focus on preparing for my national examination.
But these hobbies did not deter Michelle from writing her first book while she was preparing for her KCPE exams in 2019.
So growing up, I was a shy girl, so I thought by writing a book, maybe I could express myself more than speaking, because I really hate speaking or talking to people.
Michelle, who is an introvert in nature, says her personality inspired her to embark on a journey of becoming an author.
This book mainly revolves around the 3 years of Cassandra's journey at primary school. It mainly deals with the experiences that teenagers go through, the day-to-day activities that they do in school.
Her niche in writing books has continued to flourish after joining a league of the youngest authors not only in Kenya but also in Africa.
Waandishi walionichochea kuandika kitabu hiki ni kama marehemu Ken Walibora, John Kiriamiti, Ole Kulet na wengine wenye si wa Kenya kama Chimamanda Ngozi.
The over 200 pages book titled Cassandra's Journey is about overcoming obstacles which easily destroy friendship and create enmity both at home and in school. When schools were closed due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, she started using her writing skills to work on her second book.
I took it with a pinch of salt. 1 month or 2 months later, if I can remember, she gave me around 20 pages of manuscript she had written. We have seen people who are doing very well through developing their talents and not necessarily through academics. So we need a balance of sort where classwork is balanced with fieldwork, and fieldwork means everything to do with talents, whether it's a sporting activity or just writing books like what Michelle has done.
Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Uasin Gishu County.
A memorial mass service of the late retired president of Tanzania, Benjamin Mkapa, was held today in Tanzania. Mkapa passed on last week. Tanzanian President John Magufuli was among the leaders who attended the service, which was conducted by the Catholic Church and the government. However, the family of the late Mkapa has refuted claims that the retired president died of COVID-19. Mkapa will be remembered for his contribution in peacekeeping in the country following 2007 post-election violence. Mkapa died at the age of 81 and will be laid to rest next week on Wednesday.
Raha ya milele umpe Bwana, apumzike kwa amani. Raha ya milele umpe Bwana, apumzike kwa amani. Raha ya milele umpe Bwana.
Akasikiliza taarifa ya habari, nikaagana naye kwenda kutekeleza kile alichokuwa ameniagiza tukiwa na wanafamilia wengine. Baada ya hapo, taarifa iliyopo ni kwamba baada ya kusikiliza taarifa ya habari aliinuka akitaka kutoka. Alivyoinuka kukaa, akainamisha kichwa, na hiyo mpaka walivyokuja kumpima akawa amethibitika kwamba amefariki. Sababu yake ya kifo, alipata mshtuko wa moyo au kama unavyoita kwa kitaalamu cardiac arrest. Sasa nilidhani ni vizuri tuliseme hivi kwa sababu kumeanza kuwa na maneno na maelezo mengine ya kila mtu akijifanya ni muelewa na nabii katika mitandao ya kijamii na katika sehemu nyingine.
And in sports news, Harambee Stars striker Michael Olunga was thrice on target as his side Kashiwa Resol beat